I knew even at a young age that this is what I wanted to do. And as the years went on, I just got more and more dedicated, and I guess it became more and more of a reality that this could possibly happen. And knowing that, it just makes me want to work harder, and here we are today. So it's just another step in the process, and I'm taking it in now, but I know I have a lot of hard work left to be done, and we'll get at it this summer and take it from there.
This is Hockey Docs Presents, the Junior Hockey Giants podcast. Each episode, we bring you exclusive feature interviews with the biggest stars in the game, past and present. From Memorial Cup champions to today's brightest NHL stars, we take you behind the scenes to hear how they learned their trade in the Canadian Hockey League. Your host is Aaron Bell, longtime OHL communications director, writer, photographer, and documentary filmmaker with decades of experience covering the game. If you love junior hockey, this is your all-access pass to the stories that made the game what it is today. Now, let's drop the puck on this week's episode.
In this episode, we're going back to April 2014, on the day that Jakob Chychrun was officially selected first overall in the OHL Priority Selection by the Sarnia Sting. Jakob had just completed a standout season with the Toronto Junior Canadiens minor midget team and was widely regarded as one of the top defensive prospects of his generation. It was a special day, not just for the Chychrun family, but for everyone who had followed Jakob's path through minor hockey and knew the potential he carried. What made the moment even more meaningful was that Jakob wasn't just another top prospect. He was the son of former NHL defenseman Jeff Chychrun, and he already carried the poise and presence of a future pro. I had the privilege of photographing Jakob in his Sarnia Sting jersey that day, and continued to over his career through the OHL and all the way to the NHL draft, where he was selected by the Arizona Coyotes in the first round. Today, Jakob Chychrun is a standout defenseman with the Washington Capitals. In this episode, we rewind to where it all began.
Today's been it's a little bit more relaxing than yesterday's been. Yesterday was a little I wouldn't say stressed, nervous. We had a press conference and a couple photo shoots, so that was kind of the first time I had any big attention like that. So I was a little nervous going in, but I settled in a bit. And today's more just enjoying the process and enjoying getting to see my buddies go in the draft, and it's fun to watch.
Yeah, what an exciting day. I mean, I think that people that watch the OHL maybe take this for granted a little bit. I mean, you've probably been looking forward to this part of it for quite a long time now.
Yeah, for sure. It's been a long process through minor hockey, and I'm feeling ready for the next step, and I can't wait for the season to start.
What does it mean to you? Like, I mean, not just to be the first overall pick. I mean, obviously that's got to be very special. What does it mean to you that you know, here's a team in the OHL that thinks enough of you to say, hey, we think that this guy at a young age can be a big part of our team?
Well, that's exactly it, and they've been nothing but great, just to not only to me but to my family. And they flew my sister in from her Boston Northeastern University in Boston, so she was able to be with me this weekend, and they've done everything just to make me feel comfortable throughout the process, and I can't thank them enough for having the confidence to pick me, and I think they're just as excited as I am, so it's going to be a fun year.
What was this season like for you? I mean, you had obviously lots of ups and downs playing on the under-17 team and then not getting to play in the OHL Cup. And tell me what this season was like for you.
It was a good season overall for sure. It was great to get to know a bunch of new guys. I knew a couple of guys on the team going into it. It was kind of a last-minute decision. We got thrown a curveball a bit in the beginning of the year, but it ended up working out all really well, and the coaches were great. Johnny Winstanley and Aaron Sellon, I love them. They're great guys, and they taught me a lot and made a bunch of new friends. So
yeah, tell me a little bit about your mom and dad. Like, what is their? I mean, obviously, a parent's commitment is the only way that this works for you to get to play at this level. But tell me a little bit about that.
My dad's been through the process as well, so he knows a little bit a lot more than I do. So he's been my mentor through the process. And my mom, she's so into it, and she learns more and more every day. And I don't know if she's missed any games. They're really good parents, and they've supported me throughout the whole process, and I'm sure they still will.
And do they live in this area, in Toronto? Or?
My dad lived in Toronto this year for business,
yeah.
and my mom lived in Florida on her business as well.
Yeah. So now Sarnia is kind of not exactly in the middle of either of those.
No, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'm sure they'll fly in as much as they can, and I'm sure I have some family in Ottawa, which isn't too close either, but I'm sure they'll make some road trips together, and whenever we're in Ottawa or around there, I'm sure they'll make their way to come see me play.
Yeah. Fast forward a few months now, OHL season's just winding down now, but the next one's coming quickly. You must have thought about this along the way. Maybe you played on NHL or whatever. What do you think that night's going to be like for you?
Opening up? Yeah. First night in Sarnia, even the first preseason game, I'm sure I'll feel a little nervous, but it's a great group of guys there, and I'm sure they'll be able to calm me down a bit and just tell me to play my game, and it's all I'm going to try to do. I'm not going to think about anything, just go out there and do what I know I can do and let the rest take over.
When did you sort of start getting the feeling that, you know what, maybe this could be a career from here? Maybe this could be something that I mean, obviously with your dad having played in the league, maybe that set in a little earlier for you, but when did you really start thinking, I can tell people can see that I'm maybe good enough to move on?
Well, I hit the growth stage pretty early, and I feel I matured pretty young, and I kind of knew even at a young age that this is what I wanted to do, and as the years went on, I just got more and more dedicated, and I guess it became more and more of a reality that this could possibly happen, and knowing that, it just makes me want to work harder, and here we are today. So it's just another step in the process, and I'm taking it in now, but I know I have a lot of hard work left to be done, and we'll get at it this summer and take it from there.
While Jakob was calm and confident about the road ahead, it was clear that his journey to this point had been shaped by the experience and steady support of his family, especially his father, Jeff, a former NHL defenseman himself. Jeff had been through the ups and downs of professional hockey and knew exactly what this moment meant, not just in hockey terms, but as a parent.
I guess it's the culmination of a lot of things, a lot of, just thinking back in the past 7, 8, 9 years of all the families we've run into, the early mornings at the rink, the fundraisers, just the efforts, whether it's leaving work early, dragging the other kids to the rink, and multiplying that by all the kids, the thousands of kids that play the game across North America. And it's really, I don't know if humbling or if I have the vocabulary to describe it, but it's really made it probably for an increasingly special day as a result of that. Yesterday was extremely emotional in Sarnia, and today it's just been really enjoyable, quite frankly. And then to see the other boys that are being drafted today, the teammates and the friends, and it's funny, as a parent, you get to know the parents of the other clubs, and you're so happy for all of them, and it's a very, very enjoyable experience.
Yeah, that's terrific.
Yeah.
I don't know if people understand that watch the OHL, where these kids come from and what it takes to get there. It's kind of interesting. My fiance has 2 young boys that are novice players, and we're in the Belleville area, so they play in Sterling. And so I brought her to the OHL Cup, and I think it was such an eye-opening experience to see the level of play, the parents, the commitment, the intensity. I mean, you're going from really one extreme to another.
Yeah.
It's quite a process and such a commitment for the moms and dads.
Yeah, it is, just to get there. Yeah, and with the various levels. And some kids are early bloomers, some are late bloomers. By the time you get to midget hockey, you think you're going to start at 8, 9 years old in competitive hockey, and you're going to play with the same kids forever. Well, there's 2, 3, 4, 5 kids different every year, so the number of people you've actually crossed paths with to get to that level, it's like compounding interest. A lot of people, a lot of faces, and but yeah, very competitive. That OHL Cup, quite a week. There's a lot on the line for a lot of the boys, and a lot of them they handle themselves like professionals at a young age, and they get an early education for what they're going to experience now. The work's really just begun for them too.
Yeah, it's amazing to see. I'm always really interested to see. I've been working with the OHL for a long time, so the OHL Cup, I remember the first year we did it, Eric Stahl was there, and David Bolin, and some players like that, and to sort of see them then and think, my goodness, these kids aren't going to play in our league next year, are they? They don't seem like they could possibly be ready. But what do you sort of talk to Jacob about that to help him kind of get himself ready for that?
Yeah, I think it's the little things you have to take care of. First of all, you have to get your rest. Your body has to be prepared. But from a young age, I think the thing I really tried to incorporate into him was not to be afraid to make mistakes. Encourage him to do things with the puck so that when you hit midget hockey, if you're making the safe play all the time, then you may not have a couple kids that can play the power play. Or I always thought hard-working mistakes were okay. If they were repetitive mental ones, then you have to address it. But really, just encourage him to go out and make mistakes and work on the skills so that you're not pigeon-toed into one role on a club. You see a lot of the great forwards that were scorers early in their career, and they change to a defensive role when they're not on the first and second line anymore. So there's a lot of things that go into it, and I think it's really a marathon. It's not a sprint, so it's the daily things. And you try not to micromanage your child, but that's one of the most difficult things about being a parent too. I guess we're all results driven, and if we don't see it on a daily basis, it's tough to take a step back and say, you know what, you had a lot of homework tonight, had pressure at school, there was just a lot going on. I can understand, didn't get his rest, I can understand why he might have had an off day or an off practice. So just allow them to make mistakes and feel their way through life. They're no different than we are.
Yeah. And that's a great advice, I think, for parents that are kind of getting into that process. You obviously, with your having played professional hockey, you have a different mindset probably than a lot of the other parents would coming into it. Was it something that you kind of had to almost maybe say, hey, take a breath, it's okay. We're not trying to win the Stanley Cup today. Let's just kind of I imagine you brought in some sort of good perspective.
There are times like that for sure. I'm not nearly as cool, as calm as I thought I would be. And I helped coach him up until he was probably in Bantam hockey as well. And it got to that point where I started to get a little more physical, and I thought, maybe it's time for me to take a step back because we watch our child when they're on the ice, and we do try to watch the club and see, let's say, what system or forecheck they're playing. I've grown to really just enjoy sitting back and watching him play, and so that was an adjustment, but I find I'm probably more nervous now before a hockey game than I ever was. And to me, it's crazy when I sit back and think about it objectively, and it's not what I would tell other parents, but yeah, I get really nervous now. And I don't know why. Maybe if you worry about getting hurt or something, but when you see the kids out there and you can tell they're enjoying themselves, that's the reward, when they come off and they've got a smile on their face. But again, when they've had a hard-working moment on the ice and they come off and things haven't gone well and you see the frustration, those are the times. It's like losing money, Those are the best lessons in business, but when he comes off and he's had a rough one, those are the times you really have to think, is this the time I need to put my foot down? Is this the time I need to just leave him alone? That's the balancing act that the parents go through and have to figure out as they go along.
Which is true with all kids, I guess. It's depending on what they're doing. And I want to ask you about the he was telling me a little bit about the beginning of this season, kind of, was he going to play in the USHL? It looked like he was going to do that, and then kind of last minute, but it seemed like it worked out pretty well for him.
Things happen for a reason, don't they? And we can't always dictate the path where we're going to go, and some things aren't in your control. So in that regard, we're really blessed to have been able, for him to be able to play for the Toronto Junior Canadiens and have the season like he did, had great teammates, terrific coaches, and it worked out for the best.
This episode is brought to you by Junior Hockey Giants, Road to the NHL, my upcoming book that dives deep into the stories, photos, and behind-the-scenes moments that shape today's NHL stars. Visit hockeydocs.com for more information and exclusive bonus content and early access.